going on, fellow A-Plusers? It is I, your host, Adam Perez, back once again with a brand new video for you guys as we're set to get into your remaining live viewer questions. That's right. If you did not have the opportunity to join us as of yesterday evening, we had ourselves a brand new episode of A-Plus Hero Report. Towards the end of the show, we got to majority of our live viewer questions, but there are definitely some that we were not able to go ahead and talk about live on air. So we are here sitting down on a Monday evening, getting ready to go ahead and go over the remaining live viewer questions for you guys, just to make sure that we answer everybody's questions. So we certainly do continue to appreciate your guys' participation and sending us all your questions on a weekly basis. We will be back later on this weekend, also this upcoming Sunday, for another episode of A-Plus Hero Report. So we certainly hope you guys tune in and join us then as well. And hopefully sometime on Wednesday or Thursday, we will go ahead and post another live viewer questions post over on our community tab. So definitely get your questions ready. It's going to be a big week, guys. It's going to be a big week. So let's go ahead and dive back into this. Again, if you guys are curious, how do I go ahead submitting a live viewer question? Simple. Just go over to our YouTube page as you see here. Go ahead and click on this community tab right there. And again, usually Wednesdays or any day after Wednesdays, we will post a live viewer questions post. Feel free to submit your question whenever you see it, and we'll go ahead and answer it. I believe we ended off with Adrian Perez. Was he the last one that we talked about? Yes, I think Adrian Perez was in fact next. So let me just make sure that everything is looking good on my part here. All right. Let's go ahead and do this, Adrian, shall we? So let's do this. Adrian Perez, he says, hello, everyone. So while Dimensions in Danger wasn't the best anniversary episode of Power Rangers that we've seen, it was a lot better than Super Mega Force's legendary battle. Ain't that the truth? Though it was heavily focused around Tommy, it made sense to a degree by having Tommy face off against an evil clone of himself, similar to when he fought a clone of himself as the Green Ranger in MMPR Season 2. We learned Tommy is married to Catherine and have a son. All the Rangers that came back had a few lines to speak, while Tommy and Wes had the bulk of that episode by being co-leaders. There was an actual plot involving the past Rangers being cloned into robots. We saw most of the past Rangers fighting in their suits. We got official confirmation that Dino Charge and RPM were in the two separate dimensions. The anniversary itself wasn't the series finale of Ninja Steel, unlike Super Mega Force. Instead, took place in the middle of this season. The only downfalls in the episode itself was at the time constraints of 20 minutes. The Ninja Steel Rangers not helping and rescuing the other veteran Rangers due to the Sentai footage of Lord Draven, lack of references by the past Rangers, and no new adapted morphing sequence. Main question, what 5 things do you hope to see in Once and Always? Man, 5 things. Maybe some clarification on the SPA and SPD thing, especially with us coming a little bit closer to 2025. I do wonder if that's something that they will begin to kind of lay the groundwork for, or reveal something completely different to us. So that's definitely one thing. Hope to see. I'm really fascinated to see what the original Zord footage kind of looks like. You know, we've kind of seen a CGI Dino Megazord lifting up his sword. We've also seen like 3D modelings and renderings of the Zap Ascension Zord project as the Zords are sort of running. I am kind of curious if that will also go into the sense of, hey, we're also going to use the Zord adaptation project, or the Zord adaptation the Zord Ascension project, Dino Megazord, to not only do like the profile of the dinosaurs rushing together, but are you gonna unfold them and literally like connect them together? Like, I really want to know just how far in regards to original footage they really went to bring the Megazord to life. It's just so funny because I remember thinking about Once and Always even before we got the trailer, and one of the things that never even crossed my mind was the Megazord battle. And then when I wind up seeing it in the trailer, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, we need a giant monster and robots to go ahead and really make this official as a Power Ranger anniversary. And so that definitely opened up my eyes a little bit in regards to what they could potentially do. So that's 2 things. A third thing would be some clarity on Min's Min's dad. I do want to see if they clarify who Min's family is. If it's any of the Rangers that we know, or if it's somebody that we don't know. I mean, who knows, right? I mean, her dad could be a deadbeat dad that maybe walked out on them at a young age. Who certainly knows? But I am hoping to not only find out the father to Min, but also just kind of learn a little bit more about what Min's relationship with Trini and her mother was certainly like. Again, look, we've got 55 minutes for this special. How much information can they pack in there without it feeling too overwhelmed, but also dense enough for us as fans and people that love a good story can really sink its teeth into. So I'm going to be fascinated to see what the balance is and really the pacing of this series. Other things that I hope to see, more original fight sequences. I think we're definitely going to get that. I mean, we wind up getting an official clip today that got the chance to see Steve Cardenas and Walter Jones, both as Rocky and Zach, in the juice bar, doing their damnedest. Get an opportunity to see Walter Jones still got some of that hip hop keto moves inside of him. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what that full clip could potentially look like, unless the full clip was sort of like that minute, if you will, with the cool kind of slow motion. But we'll see what they wind up coming up with. Five things you hope to see in Once and Always. Let me think if I can think of like one more. Um, I I'm hoping that, well, a lot of people have been mentioning the idea of a cliffhanger, an open-ended cliffhanger. But I do hope that this in some way or another does lead into Cosmic Fury, or at least drop some breadcrumbs that might have a bigger impact in Cosmic Fury when we get there. I really don't know how well connected both of these projects are going to be with each other, even if they are connected. I really have no idea. But I think it would be pretty cool to kind of see Once and Always and just really see if it lays the potential groundwork for the future of the franchise, while at the same time still being kind of open-ended with this cliffhanger. So those are just some of the things I'm looking forward to, Adrian, and probably some things off the top of my head. If I really, really thought about it, I'd be fascinated to mention and bring up. But those are really the first things that sort of come to my mind. Who's next? We got good old Morgan. What's up, Morgan? Good to see you in here. Morgan Hutchison joins us today. She says, "What do you think of the Cobra Kai theory that Terry Silver might be terminally ill? In season 4, when he was reintroduced to the franchise, the first few episodes hinted that he was sick. Like when John Kreese first started to persuade him to return to Cobra Kai, Silver didn't want anything to do with him, since he just wanted to live a peaceful and healthy life after going through therapy and putting his life back together since part 3 of The Karate Kid. Later in season 5, when he became the ultimate villain, he was incredibly obsessed with training kids so he can bring Cobra Kai to the world and leave a huge legacy. And the most obvious hint was that he ran into Johnny and Carmen at the same hospital, which Silver did not know that Carmen was pregnant. So it was implied that Silver was there for a medical examination. Finally, he told Johnny to enjoy every good thing in life before it ended, and money can't buy you anything. So what do you think of the theory that he might be terminally ill? That's fascinating. I am curious what he would be terminally ill with. Maybe some form of cancer. Who certainly knows? I mean, look, I can see the hints that people are picking up. I think it's an interesting theory. He did go to prison in season 5. So I am kind of curious if in season 6 he pops back up. Maybe he mentions the medical condition that he's in. Maybe he's got to get treatments for it while he's in prison. And so he makes the revelation to us that something's been up with him this entire time. So yeah, I mean, look, granted he was already kind of mentally ill in the sense of having to go through therapy and really sort of push away his antics that he did from part 3. And it really wasn't until John Kreese came back, I think, and opened Pandora's box once again, that just really flooded this man to forget everything he learned in therapy and really reverted back to who he certainly was in the past. So maybe there is more to it, of him feeling like he's got to capture glory again one more time because of the fact that he's terminally ill. I don't necessarily know if that's my first line and train of thought, but I will say I do think it's a great theory, and it would not surprise me if that is in fact true, with some of the hints that you bring out. And I think the idea of him being at the same hospital as Johnny and Carmen, I thought was a pretty fascinating piece of information you dropped there, Morgan. So yeah, I'm kind of curious. What do you guys think? Do you think that's a plausible Cobra Kai theory? Do you think they're certainly on to something, or not? Definitely kind of let me know what you guys think. Michael, what's up, Michael? Or maybe it's Michael. I hope I'm pronouncing it right, Michael. Let's see here. You talked about box office bombs 2 weeks ago. It does suck that the DC fans have been purposefully review failing movies like Shazam Fury of the Gods without actually going out to see it. That's really messed up that people are ruining the hard work of filmmakers by not going out to support their films, especially when it comes to Phase 4 of the MCU and how it's doing currently. To be fair, while the honeymoon phase is over, let's not ignore that it's not because the qualities of film weren't as impactful as the first three phases. From what I researched, Phase 3 was the last phase to feature Tony, Captain America, along with their impact. Spider Man No Way Home was the last major part of Tony Stark's arc when it came to Peter. In general, things do change after what's come before has ended. What do you think? Um, Man, I really appreciate the question, Michael. So let's kind of go this maybe one step at a time here, right? So yeah, there definitely are a portion of the DC fans. I would never say all of them, but definitely a portion of the DC fans that have purposefully review bombed a lot of movies. Shazam: Fury of the Gods, I went and saw it. Let me see what Shazam Fury of the Gods. What did it do Rotten Tomato wise? Let's see here. Rotten Tomatoes. It got 49% critics, 86% audience score. I enjoyed the film, but it was a little lackluster in certain areas for me. 86 might even feel a little bit too high for me in regards to audience score. I'd have to rethink again what I would give it in regards to the um the score. I'm pretty sure I had it probably in like low C's, maybe. For me, the biggest issue with Shazam: Fury of the Gods, like one, I don't think the marketing did this movie any justice in regards to what it was supposed to be. I really enjoyed Rachel Zegler. Also, I think the fascinating connection between her along with the other was it Captain Marvel Jr. or Captain Every Power, I think he was calling himself. I really enjoyed that, and I wish they kind of highlighted a little bit more in the trailers. But I kind of also miss Billy Batson. Like, it was really cool to see a lot of Zachary Levi as Shazam and stuff, but there was an element of Billy Batson that I wanted a little bit more of that I just did not get, especially considering just the relationship between him and his sort of foster mom. It wasn't as emotionally impactful as they probably could have been because I feel like they diverted away from Billy and gave us more Shazam than anything else. So, there were elements where I found it a little bit more lackluster than I did the first one. But there were definitely elements that I certainly enjoyed and had a good time with it. So, but yeah, there are people that probably just never see the movie and still review it. But when it comes to phase 4 of the MCU and how it's doing currently, to be fair, the honeymoon phase is over. I will 100% agree with you there. You say, let's not ignore that it's not because of the quality of the films. Because let's not ignore that it's not because of the quality of the films weren't as impactful as the first three phases. From what I researched, phase 3, so it looks like you're emphasizing the fact that we no longer have people like Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans as Tony Stark and Captain America for their impact there any longer. And you say, in general, things do change after what comes before has ended. And look, I will just say this for where I find Marvel at right now. They're in a very fascinating position to certainly be in, to say the least. Um, and for me, the honeymoon phase is over. I was very much under the impression that when it comes to phase 4, this was going to be sort of like a restart, if you will, pushing the start button again and playing the game over again. So we're having a fresh restart from the very beginning, and we get introduced to brand new characters in here. The problem that I think that we're having in here is, while you say let's not ignore that it's not because of the quality of the films, I will say I do think that there is a capacity that there is a part of it. It may not be the only reason, because I do think that there is something valuable about not having Tony Stark, not having Captain America, and I mean Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr., not having a Black Widow for Scarlett Johansson, right? We've got these really big names and these superstars that are no longer here. So that is an element to why I think the MCU is where it's at. But I do think another part of it is that the quality of the filmmaking and television stuff just has not been up to par. It feels very much like it's been diluted, kind of stretched too thin. The idea that we have so many projects that are out there that maybe your writers and the directors that you're bringing on board aren't as high quality as some of the creators that you had for the first couple of phases, also. And again, Kevin Feige is just one man, but when you literally explode one phase that goes from like 4 to 5 entries to like 11 to 18 or some like, let me see how many entries, how many projects were in phase 3. Let's see. Phase 3 is the first phase to enclose more than 6 films, 11 films total. So they had 11 films total for phase 3. Phase 4 right now, let's see. Does it give me? I wanted to say it was something ridiculous like 18 or some shit like that, including film and televisions. It was something ridiculous that they wind up having. Phase 4 movies ranked. They might have been like 17. Yeah, 17 is the Eternals, believe it or not. So yeah, they've definitely had their fair share, and you're really cramming a lot of that stuff within a short period of time. So yeah, I think it has a lot to do with the quality. Forcing some of these things to be diluted a little bit, because we're even from phase 1, I don't necessarily feel it was that much of a mess. But look, Marvel has sort of earned its right to be in the position that it's in. It's done such a great job over the first 3 phases that I do think that fans will be lenient with Marvel for a particular period of time at least. We'll definitely see how something like the Marvels and Guardians of the Galaxy 3 certainly do. But for me personally, while I will agree with you that some of it does have to do with Tony Stark and Captain America not being there, there's another part of me that does think the quality of films are dropping. Not to say that these movies are trash. I've enjoyed them, but they just don't have that oomph that they certainly used to, and I don't necessarily know where that's coming from. Look, Black Panther 2, I enjoyed it. I almost kind of enjoyed it more than the first one. Some people might find that blasphemous, but I really enjoyed Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Shang-Chi was really fun. Spider-Man No Way Home was great, if you ask me. And yeah, and then the other stuff has just been okay, and to say a Marvel film is just okay feels like it's a kind of blasphemous, a little bit disrespectful, if you will, but it's unfortunately the truth. So again, I've enjoyed what they've given us so far, but phase 4 just really has not compared to the previous phases, unfortunately, and I'm kind of hoping that when it comes to the future, that they kind of take a step back and they figure things out for themselves, and I'm sure that they will. Francois is next, our international superstar. What do you think of the whole Amy Jo Johnson situation, from her most recent tweet to now announcing to be writing an MMPR comic book with her partner? While I'm happy for her, it still doesn't excuse for the way she talked bad about the anniversary special by constantly tweeting on why she wasn't going to be in it. I might be the only one to talk about this, but it does irritate me the way that she's been making Hasbro themselves and the production team in New Zealand look bad. I just wish she didn't have to tweet anything at all, or at least a brief explanation like, hey, she had other responsibilities, instead of feeding into the loud minority. Just like with JDF's retirement and the Bat in the Sun drama against Hasbro, this makes the loud minority believe that Hasbro does not care about the franchise. Her newly announcement still makes no sense to her tweets when it comes to the MMP art special. A lot of us know the way that she was treated the franchise for a while. I get it. She's an actor and she wanted to keep certain things a secret. Even saying "or none of your beeswax" was kind of insulting since she's started saying those things when the anniversary special was first announced. Look, I can understand if it rubs some people the wrong way. I think we even talked a little bit about some of her tweets in a sense of just saying like it's just not a good look. You know what I mean? Considering like how fans already felt about you or knew how you felt about the franchise and things like that. Um, it just I don't think her first tweet at least I don't necessarily think was a good look. And I do think that if anything, she probably could have had said something like, "I just had other responsibilities that I had to take up, and I couldn't make it. If you want to go ahead and keep that secret, that hey, I'm doing a MMPR comic book, you know what I mean?" For me, I think if there was any tweet I had an issue with, it was probably hers. It was probably the first one. After that, though, I'm pretty okay with it. I know you found the idea of none of your beeswax kind of being insulting, but for me, I kind of felt it felt very Kimberly. It felt very '90s Kimberly. I feel like who's said none of your beeswax in like in the 2000s, in the 21st century. You know what I mean? So like there was an element of like humor, tongue in cheek. I think out of it because it just felt very '90s Kimberly to say, or none of your beeswax, type of thing. Um, and in reality, look, it is really none of our business, but as a fandom, we would love to know these things. So maybe she could be a little bit more forthcoming, or at least handle the way that she certainly says things. You know what I mean? So I would agree with you, Francois, in the sense that maybe she could have said things differently for it to come across a different way, to not be as insulting for some people. So again, while I had an issue with maybe her first tweet, after that I just was just like whatever, like I really just don't care anymore. And I'm just glad that at some point in time she is participating in it in her own way, based off of how we do know about her and her connection to Power Rangers. As much as she definitely claims that she loves it, I'm sure there was a period in her time where she really probably just did not care for it very much, was very much off the radar. And she's right, she's been very busy with kids, because trust me, I'm just trying to freaking carry a YouTube channel. Having a kid is fucking nightmarish. Definitely takes up a ton of my time, and especially with her being a director and creating music for such a long time. So I get her reasoning for sure also, but I would agree with you. I think there's a better way that you can communicate that with your fans. You know what I mean? But look, at the end of the day, Amy Jo Johnson's given us something from Kimberly, and for me as a fan, I'm happy with that. What's up, Stuart? Good to see you. Stuart says, my theory on Cosmic Fury. Lord Zed somehow destroys the Dino Fury powers after being defeated. Billy shows up in the Rag Bug 2 and tells the Rangers to get in, then takes them back to their base, where he already has the Cosmic Fury morphers ready for them. Somehow, Ollie's morpher was infused with dark energy from the Dark Energem, and he becomes evil. Fern hears about the Rangers' defeat, and goes to help in any way that she can, but is captured by Ollie, who takes her to Lord Zed. Billy, who's in his MMPR Blue Ranger suit, is tracking Ollie and takes the orange Cosmic Fury morpher, rescues Fern, removes his helmet because he probably recognizes her. He tells her how to morph, and they both go help the Cosmic Fury Rangers in battle. They are in. Episode 3 ends with Fern revealing it's her in Orange Cosmic Ranger, Fury Ranger, to Izzy and the rest of the team. What do you guys think? I dig some of that. My question is, how many episodes is this taking place in? I'm under the impression David Yost is only in one episode, but I could easily be wrong. Some of the things in here, I think it would be cool if it's Billy that actually does give them the Cosmic Fury morphers. Um, the concept of Ollie being infused with dark energy, is a pretty fascinating one, especially considering that we know we might be getting Heckle as the Dark Ranger in here. So maybe it's a sense of Ollie is infused with the dark energy from the Dark Energem, but then Heckle comes, and in the process of maybe trying to save Ollie, Heckle absorbs the Dark Energem energy power back for himself. Maybe that's something that winds up happening. I love the idea of Fern and Billy helping out the Rangers, and revealing herself. I could just see her taking off the helmet, hair thrust, and Izzy's just all heart eyes, like, oh my god, my girlfriend just saved me. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's something along those lines, but Some pretty cool theories there, Stuart. I appreciate it, man. Carlo Bernardo, what's up, Carlo? He says, "Hey guys, with Once and Always coming up, coming out this Wednesday, what were some episodes of MMPR did you get to revisit in preparation, and what did you hope will happen, not happens, and get teased in the anniversary special?" Well, I kind of already talked about 5 things I would kind of like to see happen, but to answer your question, Carlo, um, some episodes of MMPR to revisit in preparations for. That's right up Stuart's alley. Let me go ahead and pull this up here for you because Stuart did do a video. Where'd it go? Here it is. What you need to know before watching Power Rangers. So there is a video out there on our YouTube channel if you want to check it out. It's 17 minutes. But Stuart, if anything, will probably get you caught up or at least give you an idea of maybe what episodes to certainly check out. There might be some other YouTube channels, I believe, that have done sort of like the episode preparation sort of thing to check out. Also, I would definitely recommend those. But check out Stuart's first and see if that kind of fulfills your need of what you need to know before revisiting to go ahead and get yourself prepared. But my other answer, as far as like the 5 things I would like to happen, I answered that just a second ago. So thank you very much, Carlo. I appreciate it. Gabriel, I will say this: if I just to tack on to that, Carlo, what do you hope will happen? Um, I, in my heart, and again, this is just me, guys, just me. In my heart, I would love if JDF did a voiceover or did some ADR work at some point in time for the character. Um, Maybe I'm getting my hopes up. I mean, I know they were filming during the time when he passed, so I don't even know if they were already doing any sort of like ADR work for the characters by that time. I could be wrong. Um, I'm pretty sure I'm expecting a tribute message to Toy along with Jason, maybe towards the end or the beginning, in loving memory of, type of thing. Um, so we'll see what we get, but I hope we get some sort of a tribute, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that maybe Amy Jo Johnson and JDF did some levels of ADR work or whatever the case may be. So we'll see. I'm hoping there's one more surprise. I'm hoping. Gabriel says, "What did you think of the second trailer of Across the Spider-Verse, and what did you find that stood out the most compared to the first trailer, as well as the trailers from the first movie Into the Spider-Verse?" So I really liked the second trailer. I really enjoyed both of these trailers. The family dynamic continues to jump out at me. The relationship between Miles and his parents, like just the idea of showing up late and his mom being upset about it. I also love the idea that he's got like a B minus in Spanish, and his mom is so offended. It's like, we literally talk Spanish in the house every day, son. Like, how could you have a B minus? That should be an A plus for you, sort of thing. So I do chuckle about that. And one fascinating element in this trailer that got revealed that I did not know was going to be a part of the story, it feels very much like the element of Miles having to save or sacrifice one of his own family members. They bring up the idea of Uncle Ben a lot in here. The idea that a lot of these Spider-Men at one point in time had, one of their family members was sacrificed, or they had to make a tough decision, and somebody that they knew and loved, died. It's really what sort of propelled them to be the hero that they certainly are today. And the idea that you got somebody like Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099, who's organizing all these Spider-Men, it looks like, trying to save the universe in some way or another. The fact that maybe the pivotal part that has to happen in order for the universe to continue on is possibly the death of Miles' dad. And I really enjoyed their relationship in the first one, sort of like that awkward, can't, really don't know how to express my feelings to my father, and sort of like that awkward father-son moment, especially during that age range. Um, you know, I kind of dug that element. So the fact to kind of see Miles maybe even pushing back against the idea of like, I'm not gonna sacrifice my dad. Like, there's got to be a way to kind of save him. I really dig that because we've seen so much death in the Spider-Man world, but also on the other end of it, the impact that it's had in making them the heroes that we know. So I think that's really fascinating to me, and I love the Spider-Man, get Spider-Man, and then everybody's like pointing at each other like, what, like which one? So yeah, breathtakingly beautiful. The artistic style looks incredible in here. I even love the shot of the psychiatrist Spider-Man talking to the patient Spider-Man. So going on about his uncle. So let me guess. He died. Like, what a dick move. Like what a dick comment. But it made me I laughed so loud when he said it. Because at this point, unfortunately, the death of Uncle Ben is just like a joke right now because we've just seen it so many times. Let me guess. He died. Great stuff, man. Great stuff. So the humor is definitely there. The story feels really enticing. I mean, Oscar Isaac is Miguel in Spider-Man 2099. Like, the guy is huge in this animated style compared to what he is even in the comic books. But it looks fun, it looks entertaining, and it looks like it has some stakes to it. And I think that's super important that this animated movie takes itself seriously also in regards to the story that it wants to tell. And don't be surprised if this movie gets nominated once again for another Oscar for Best Animated and possibly wins. If Phil and Lord Miller can continue along the um, continue along the successful track that they've been on so far, yeah, man, this movie could be bananas, and I can't wait to see it. Kurt Marino, last question for you guys today. What's up, Kurt? What you got for us? Have you guys heard or watched the TV show Prison Break starring Wentworth Miller and Dominic Purcell? I have heard of it. I have not watched a single episode of it, unfortunately, but it was a pretty big popular show for a few seasons, I think back on Fox, if I'm not mistaken. And it was Wentworth Miller and actually Dominic Purcell that went on to become Captain Cold and Heatwave in Legends of Tomorrow. So I thought that was actually pretty cool that they kept them together, if you will. I myself am a huge fan of the series since I saw them saw them available on Netflix. I even watched a revival continuation series, which was a limited fifth season. Oh, that's cool! It was so cool seeing majority of the original cast members come back, and the writers did a really great job at making them feel like their old characters while making them feel new and a real purpose. I also really like that it was shot in a foreign country and the huge plot twist. The way Wentworth's character Michael was written felt very realistic and made sense when it came to actually ending of the original series. You really couldn't tell this was even a revival. Felt more like the show returns from a small break. Oh, I see what you mean. Would you like to see a sixth season, or are you perfectly fine with this series with only 5 seasons? Well, look again. Unfortunately, Prison Break is not a show that I've watched, but I think if they've already kind of attempted to bring back a fifth season, or at least do a limited fifth season to make sure that you know, I would assume coming back for a limited fifth season allow the writers to really give it its proper ending and proper closure. So if that's the case, I say I'm cool with the fifth seasons. But look, I'm sure some fans probably want more. Again, I just was never big into Prison Break to have that anticipation and that hype for like, yeah, I need more of this, need more of this show type of thing. So I'm sure maybe some fans would say, yeah, give me a sixth season, but I gotta think it's been a few years now since we've had that fifth season of Prison Break, and by that time, I think maybe just kind of move on. Unless you revive the show with brand new cast members and brand new writers and come up with a whole new plot, maybe that's something they decide to do and revive it or reboot it. I should say reboot it somewhere down the line. But as of right now, I think the limited fifth season is probably a good ending point for them. But yeah, thanks for that question, Kurt. I think other than that, guys, I think that will do it for our live viewer questions today. So thank you so much, guys, for certainly coming through. Always appreciate it and you guys as well. Um, but yeah, if anything, hold on one second here, guys. This is gonna come back up, but I don't want that yet. Okay. Um, so yeah, if anything, we're definitely will be back later on this weekend. We got a couple of videos for you guys. Again, just as a heads up, I am working at the office all week long, so I'm not going to be able to work on any content until I get home in the evening, which is going to be about 7 o'clock at night. So if anything, you could probably expect your. I'm gonna continue to do Gotham Knights and Mandalorian for you guys. But if anything, hopefully Gotham Knights will be able to drop on time on Wednesday for you guys. And then Thursday, instead of going live for the Mandalorian at 1 p.m. Central, I'm probably going to go live around 7:30 p.m. On Thursday for you guys to really wrap up the final episode of the Mandalorian this week. And then I may just do an overall season 3 review. I'm gonna try and see if I can get Will Polk from Scene and Nerd. Maybe I can even sit down with Stuart. Maybe the three of us can have some Star Wars talk and pick each other's brains about what we thought about this season as far as an overall third season. So we got plenty of content certainly headed your way, guys. So plenty for you guys to certainly watch. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit that like button, guys. It definitely does go a long way. But until next time, do me a big favor as always. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, keep it A plus. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.